Sweet. All right, cool. It worked. And zoom back into here. Got it. And I'm going to start letting people in. Welcome, everybody. See people coming into the meeting here. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there.
Cold.
It's cold.
Cold.
Oh boy, that sounds fun. It's cold here too. It's snowing. So fun stuff. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We are live. This is being recorded. If you do not want to be recorded, make sure you have your camera off. And if you don't want to talk, that's okay. That's fine. But if you want to ask some questions, feel free to go ahead and do so. And just know that this will be republished and re-aired after we're done. And this is a live broadcast event. So Locksmith Live is the every week meeting on Mondays. So Monday at 4 o'clock, I'll either have a guest like today. We've got Mr. Mo Ali from Lock Labs, who's our special guest, or sometimes we just talk about jobs that we did throughout the week and explain in depth some of the things that I've done throughout my career so that I can start reflecting on that and sharing that knowledge on a weekly basis with the audience here. And with that, I'll let you go ahead and take the floor, Mo.
Hey, what's up, guys? Wayne, thanks for having me on. I was supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, and then I got sick and had to kind of postpone. And then today, or the last few days, it's been like allergies. So I was like, no, I can't do that to Wayne twice. So I'm going to try and suffer through it. So for those who don't know me, my name is Mo. I'm the vice president of Lock Labs. Lock Labs it's many things to different people, but to the locksmiths, we are the de facto manufacturer of the AutoProPad and Triton. AutoProPad key programmer and the Triton key cutter. And the locksmiths also know us for our technical support and our warranty and repair center. Our support actually is not just tech support. We do have live on-vehicle support also. So if you're an automotive locksmith that's making keys and you're using an AutoProPad and you have an active subscription on the machine, you can give us a call and talk to an actual locksmith, not just somebody sitting in an office, and help get some help if you're stuck on something. So we have there's other facets of Lock Labs that aren't necessarily locksmith facing. We do kind of position ourselves to be kind of the support structure for automotive within the locksmith industry. So we serve distributors as well. So all the various places that sell our stuff have us as a resource to help with that effort and getting the locksmiths taken care of. So I guess that's us in a nutshell.
That's amazing. I think that's one of the biggest concerns that people have when they're thinking about setting up a new van, setting up a new shop. There's just so much out there right now. If you've got 50 grand, you can spend that in a heartbeat just on automotive stuff and still not really have everything that you need to do the job. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring you in. I wanted to step outside my comfort zone. I don't want these meetings to always focus on things that I'm good at, like safe work and commercial work and, residential stuff. I want to make sure that we expand to include the entire industry here. And this is a way that we could start dabbling on the automotive side of things. And that was the biggest attraction when we started talking about the Triton key machine is if you need help, you can pick up the phone and you can talk to somebody who you can communicate with, and they will get you an answer to your problem. The customer support with this product is on a whole nother level. And that's a whole nother level from even, some of the other American-based companies. I know there's some machines that you send them back right now and you don't see it for 8 to 10 months. And then even when it comes back, it still might not be calibrated properly. So for a similar investment, you could get a machine that's going to do automotive keys. It cuts, the Honda keys, the Sidewinder keys, pardon my terminology if I'm not using it correctly, but any of those automotive keys, is there any key that this will not cut besides like Medico and things that take side cuts?
That's about it. Those biaxial keys, those oddball ones, that kind of need to have the cutting wheel. We can't do, but short of that, every viable, commercial, residential, and automotive key that's relevant to our market here in America, our machine can do. I think you touched on a few things too, which I completely agree with. I've kind of made a career in this industry on kind of stigma of Chinese made products. And early on, it was a little bit of a struggle. For people that don't know, I was American Key Supply's vice president for about a decade, and we were early adopters of that. Of companies like X-Horse and sourcing keys from overseas just to bring costs down to make this endeavor more profitable for locksmiths. But we've come a long way since those days. The manufacturing is definitely up to speed now. But having a partner like us in Lock Labs, essentially, the machine may be manufactured overseas, but it is supported by us. All the research and development is done by us here in Las Vegas.
Right.
We repair everything in-house. If the machine has to be sent into service, you're only down for whatever, the time it takes to ship the machine to us and for us to repair it, which is normally a day or so, and then just to ship it back out. And we're in a position, because we are essentially the manufacturer, if we can't fix it, we just replace it. Wayne is right. There are other Chinese key cutters on the market where if you buy it and it breaks, that's it. Your only recourse is to try and chat with somebody in a different time zone on the other side of the world. And there's no authorized service center. There may not be an authorized service center here in the States that you can send it to. So it becomes a paperweight, and we're definitely not that.
Absolutely. That's great. So you've got the key machine, and you've also got programming software and programming tools as well. One of the biggest questions, because we're all over social media right now. These meetings are really taking off. After almost every single meeting, I'll usually get 5 or 6 private messages about the meeting and some of the topics that we covered. And I'll either forward those to the guest if they apply to the guest, or I'll try and answer them the best of my ability. But one question that I get asked all the time is, how much do I need for an investment, and what do I need to get started in automotive work? If I have $5,000 or $10,000 to spend, if I got 10 grand to spend and I have absolutely no automotive equipment right now, what is going to get me the best bang for my buck to get return on investment, get keys out to the people, get that money rolling back in so that I can start investing in more equipment?
That's an interesting question. If you're looking to get into automotive and take it seriously, I wouldn't consider the finances as the biggest factor. I would think that your time commitment, your desire to learn, and your desire to do things the right way should be your biggest factors that you take into consideration first. I see a lot of people try and get into the automotive side of things, and they want to take the shortcuts, and they want to spend the least amount of money. And typically those people, they don't last long, or they become kind of notorious because they're always on like Facebook, trying to get other people to answer all the questions that they should be able to answer themselves. I mean, I know people that have made, have been functioning that way for like a decade. You look through their comment history on like Locksmith Nation, and it's like just question after question they're asking about the simplest cars. So, commitment and passion, I think, are the most important. And then if you're trying to put a dollar amount on, what it would cost to be viable in this industry, it's changed a lot in the last decade. Again, as I mentioned before, in my time with AKS, we really helped to kind of bring those costs down. the barrier to entry. So, you don't need to have a $10,000 key cutter. You don't need to have a, $12,000 key programmer or whatever. The tools, they're affordable now, but if you do things the right way, you're buying every leashy tool there is and you're mastering those and you're taking classes. Your inventory, for those who are more residential, commercial, and you may not be aware, but the inventory situation for automotive locksmiths is completely different. They typically don't have storefronts, so they're just buying enough to stock one van. So they're ordering daily sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes they may not know they need a certain remote until a customer calls. So it's a different kind of discipline within the overall, overarching locksmith.
Sure. I get that. But I guess what I'm asking is if you had 3 bullet points, like maybe, kind of some of the directions that I've been directing people is you guys have the ProPad, right?
Yeah. Yes. Auto is our machine. Yeah.
Our Auto ProPad. So when people ask me this question, here's what I tell them is I tell them, number one, none of these tools are going to do you any good until you got a little bit of knowledge up here and how to use them. So number one, take your money and go participate in a live class. If the only thing you can get offered right now is a webinar, jump in on a webinar. Your webinars and hands-on education work hand in hand. If you take a webinar on a subject, you get that information immediately, and it's only going to help you with your hands-on class that you sign up for that are available in more structured time frames. We've got the Aloha event coming up. I think it's in Florida, isn't it? The big automotive event. It used to be just cars. Now it's IAIL or something like that.
IAIL, yeah. Yep.
So So that would be a great thing to do. So number one, always invest your first dollar in education on that subject. Can you agree with that?
100%. Yes.
Nice. Good.
Help you decipher whether or not this is something that you're ready to dive into. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. I was lucky enough. I got done with one of my classes early, and I got to sit in on one of Stacy Hetchler's classes, and it was EPROM, and I was like, cool. I learned everything I need to know. I don't need to be here. This is not my jam. I do not need to be here in any way, shape, or form. So this is cool. I respect it. Thank you guys. That's great. I'm going to go move, a 3,000 pound safe. That's what I'm going to go do right now. The IAAL show is in Kansas, not Florida. My apologies for the error.
IAAL's in Kansas this summer, and then was it this summer? I don't even remember.
I think it is. I think it's summer, fall, somewhere in there.
Something like that, yeah.
Just go to aloha.org, ALOA.org, and they will go ahead and get you the information you need to do for that. But it's basically Just Cars has transferred into this organization here, and they're going to be taking it over. And from what I can tell, Mr. Ed Woods is doing a fantastic bang-up job of organizing this and just really taking this thing to another level. I don't think they could have got a better person in that seat to really drive this machine. I think they're doing an excellent job, and I'm really excited to see what happens out of this. So after we do education, the next thing we need to do is we need to get familiar with equipment, and the class you take should be getting you with familiarized with some kind of key cutting machine. Otherwise, what are we learning here, right? We're going to have to be familiar with some kind of programmer if you're doing any kind of automotive these days, and you're going to have to come up with some idea of a key machine. So you're going to get to see how those machines interact. But what my suggestions usually are is I'm like, hey, talk to Mo with Lock Labs, and he'll get you set up with what you need. It probably needs to be tailored to it, but it's probably going to involve a Triton Plus and probably an Auto ProPad, and that is going to get you really far. It's going to get you a solid base. You're going to be able to start getting return on investment, and those little cars that just the ones that just are kind of a little off and maybe are not covered by those 2 machines, you'll know what you need to substitute, and you'll know what you need to fill in the gaps from there. Is that a fairly accurate statement?
Oh, 100%. And the beauty of our machines as well, and I mean with the Triton and the Auto ProPad, is because they are actively developed by us and by working locksmiths. the user interfaces and the functionality is very straightforward, very easy to use, very easy to like. And I always tell people, and they don't believe me, but like my daughters, I got 12-year-old girls or twins. They can cut keys on the Triton, no problem. Obviously I'm supervising because I don't want them, losing a finger or anything like that, but they can get the menus just fine. They could do duplications. It's been well thought out, and same with the Auto Pro Pad. The programming sequences are very linear, very straightforward and logical. That doesn't mean that you should just pick one up and figure it out. Like, watch some tutorials, take a class, because there's a lot of damage you could do to a vehicle if you're kind of trained. And but it's, for as far as ease of use goes and price point and all that other stuff, I think our machines are a great choice for people, not just the novices, but even, Wayne, yourself. You're definitely not a novice, and you got a Triton right behind you. So
there it is. Yes. And I do use it. And I'll tell you what, that machine is not only for automotive. Like, most people are going to buy that as an automotive machine. I'll tell you what I was doing when I was doing my research to pick a new machine, because I did my research. I'm looking at Freemans, I'm looking at, other machines out there. I'm looking at all this stuff that's available out there. And I'm like, man, for what I can get a mechanical, or a non-automatic key machine for, I can actually upgrade and get something that is more automatic. It does have the screen. It can tell me, walk me through the steps. It already has code software built into it. You guys have your own code software built into it. So I can just punch it in on the machine, as opposed to looking something up on my phone and then having to transfer that data over. And then you try and, move everything around and try and get this thing to work. I'm like, for another $1,000 or $2,000, maybe $1,500, I can get everything. And should I ever decide to want to do automotive, like maybe old school automotive or something, I can do all of it. This is an absolute no-brainer. I shouldn't buy this machine. I need to buy this machine. I need to have this machine as part of my fleet, because it only makes sense. Things are only going to get more advanced. If you think that we're going to go back in time and start doing things with more dials and screws, you're absolutely wrong. It's not happening. We're going into the digital age. We're already there, and we're going to keep continuing to go even further and advance to it. I had no clue how to work that machine, and I pulled it right out of the box. I didn't look up one video. I threw the instructions away like a general man does, and I just started poking buttons, and it came to life. And it told me, okay, use this jaw. I want to cut a quickset key. I want to cut a schleg. I want to cut whatever I need to cut. You choose this jaw, put your key blank in, 5-pin, 6-pin. What are the cuts? Boom. And then one thing that I really like about your machine is the way it does the wavy cuts. People don't think that makes a lot of difference, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that when I hand my customer a key that's got that more wavy type cut to it versus something that's been punched or something more sharp and jagged, they love that key 10 times more, and they will ask me for duplicates of that key, because that's what they want. It goes in smoother. It pulls out smoother. I've seen absolutely no other side effects from it. And it just works. So it works for the residential and the commercial side. And I'm using it to cut A2 pinning, IC core stuff. And that, I'm not sure, maybe we can talk about maybe we can talk about what the tolerances are on automotive. But I can tell you the tolerances are so fine and so tight on A2 pinning interchangeable core, SFIC, small format interchangeable core, and products like Sargent. They're so tight. The tolerances are so tight. It has to be deadly accurate. That is why I only went with some of those other machines specifically for accuracy before. I cut them out all day long on this machine. I use the engraver. I put my logo and my company phone number on there. And it's amazing. They love it.
I love all of this. You hit on one point a couple of minutes ago about kind of how the Triton was perceived as an automotive machine, and that's kind of our fault. Like that's kind of what not really the direction we pushed it, but we're automotive is our comfort zone. So that first generation, it shipped with a 4-way jaw that was pretty much an automotive jaw. And then in order to broaden its functionality, into residential commercial, you'd have to buy a supplemental jaw. So it wasn't really that rescom friendly, commercial friendly right out of the box, but the capabilities were all there. With this new generation, which is the Triton Plus, we addressed a couple of things. We made some adjustments to the machine itself, though it may look the same from the outside. On the inside, we went from a belt-driven motor to a direct drive motor, but more importantly, we upgraded the main control board. And what that did was create those tighter tolerances, like Wayne mentioned, and really benefited the residential commercial stuff more. I mean, the automotive was already pretty dialed in as it was. So, now I'm hearing about people doing all the IC core stuff and, building master key systems using the machine and all that good stuff. And what we did with the rollout of this new generation, just to let people know, it's not just an automotive machine. We made 3 different packages. So there's a Triton Plus Automotive Edition, which has the 4-way jaw. It has a Tibby jaw. It has all the jaws you need to do pretty much like 99% of automotive out there. And then we created the Triton Commercial Edition, which comes with a single-sided jaw, the tubular jaw, and the engraving jaw, I believe. And they're both the same price. So you just pick one. And if you pick the automotive and then you decide, hey, I want to cut some house keys or something, just go and buy the single-sided jaw. It's a couple $100, and now you can cut all the single-sided keys. You don't have to upgrade the machine or anything. Just buy one jaw. And then the third package is the Triton Ultimate Edition, which includes every single jaw, the engraving jaw, the single-sided, the 4-way, the Tibby, the tubular, and then it comes with a ton of extra cutters and decoders, and it's a complete package in the $5,000 range. Yeah, it comes. That's the jaw. Yep, with the foam inserts to keep everything protected.
Yep.
Yeah,
that works. Awesome. Yeah. No, I think you guys. I don't. I can pick and choose whoever we decide to work with, and I get the luxury of doing so. I'm not put in a position where everything's driven by financial reasons. I select the quality products that I like engaging with, and then I try and promote those products. And that's exactly why you're here tonight. It's not the other way around. I reached out to Mo. Mo didn't reach out to me and say, hey, we want to promote our product. I said, I want to promote your product because I use it all the time. It actually works, and it does what it says it's going to do. And that is something that is hard to find in today's market and atmosphere. You can fill a whole van and a shop and probably another 2 trailers full of garbage that people just don't need. This is one of those things that works. It works every time. Anytime I have an issue with it, I send Mo a message, give him a call, boom, it's fixed immediately. And that is what I'm hearing back from other people as well. And I really enjoy that, because here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to get behind a product and say, hey, this is what I'm using. This is great. And then somebody gets it and they hate it. They're having nothing but problems with it. They just can't use it. And then it's almost like it's my fault. They're like, well, you recommended it. That's why I bought it, and now here I have all these problems with it. And that's just not the case. That's not what we do. And I'm just flabbergasted by this thing. I mean, it's been in the truck. You saw me, I hooked it up to a pack out unit. So it's in and out of the truck. It's going between vans. John's used it. I mean, it gets around, it gets beat up, it gets thrown around, and it just does everything every time I ask it to do it. It's on point. Do you want to talk about the Pro
I love
Pack?
watching your videos.
Huh?
I love watching your Triton videos, and what you did with that pack out, how you mounted it to that board. I was like, crazy.
It's so nice because I got to move trucks sometimes. So just click, and then I mount the base in another one. It works. That's what I'm doing with all my vehicles now. Now they're all like Legos. Like this truck needs to go into the shop and have a transmission rebuilt or something. Cool. It's going to be down for 3 weeks. We'll just plug it into another vehicle. Off I go. I just had to do that so much that I made it part of my system, So one last thing that I wanted to touch on too is it will do round circular cut keys. I have not had a chance to do videos on that, but I actually have some keys and I have a plastic clear lock that we can look and see how it works. I'm going to do a whole program on how to pick, decode, and make keys for that. And I'm going to feature the Triton key machine for doing so. So
awesome.
Just know that that's coming, but it's not something you'll see all the time, but just know that it is something that'll do, just like many of the other machines on the market. You don't need a separate one to do that. This machine will do circular tubular keys as well.
Yeah, and it's one of my horrible jokes. It's the one thing that arcade machines and Harley Davidsons have in common is key, right?
Yep, that's right. And they're still around. There's still a ton of them.
Yeah,
You may
yeah,
not see them for 3 months or 6 months, and then you'll see, 5 or 6 of them in a row. Boom, boom, boom,
right.
boom, boom. And that Harley call, if it's nice spring riding weather, you're going to get that Harley call every single time, every single time. So, right on, man.
How
Tell
would
us
you
about the
compare?
Pro Pad a little bit.
Auto Pro Pad. So yeah, man, that's been quite an adventure there. We came to market in about 2016-ish. When the Auto Pro Pad first came out, it was the only other viable programmer on the market. There was actually only one option for key programming at that point, and it was an option that required you to rent the machine that you own through a mandatory monthly subscription charge, or by the use of, or you'd pay to use it, per use or something like that. And, it was tough for a lot of locksmiths if you had a slow month and you couldn't, make enough to cover the cost of your machine for that month or whatever. The machine would turn into a paperweight. And we thought that was kind of unfair, because at that point now you can't even go make more car keys to make, to recoup that debt. And, so, it was almost a punishment. So when the Auto Pro Pad came out in that, retail space, it was a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief for a lot of automotive locksmiths out there, because the machine, though we do have a subscription service that gives you unlimited updates and gives you live technical support, once it expires, the machine keeps working. It just stays in the state it was when your subscription expired. So you may not get the latest updates for the 2024 cars or whatever, but if you need to keep using it until you've got the cash to go for another year of updates, it's going to do you just fine. And then the updates, it's, and the live tech support, it's only $600 for an entire year, which is, 2 months worth of the subscription costs of the other machine I was talking about. So, yeah, it's been great. So, we launched in 2016. We've had, added a couple different models here and there. A couple years ago, the machine entered its second generation, which, if you're around automotive programmers, that's a rarity, because a lot of the programmers, they come and go. I can mention those by name because they're dead, like Oscom and Autech and CK100 and SBB, STD. I mean, the list goes on. The machines kind of run out of support, or the manufacturer can't afford to keep that line in production, and your $1,000 investment or whatever, again, becomes a paperweight. So to see the machine through now to its second generation, it's amazing for us. The current generation has 3 models. There's the Auto Pro Pad Basic, which is kind of like the entry level machine that'll do all the easy stuff, the plug and play programming. If you're looking to just kind of get your feet wet and get, kind of see what automotive locksmithing is all about, that Basic will do you just fine. The next model up from that is the Auto Pro Pad G2. That one has a nice bigger screen and a bigger battery, and it has an expanded key programming functionality, especially there are some cars where you can't just plug into the OBD port. You kind of have to remove modules and write to the chips directly. So that machine will allow you to do those. And then the G2 Turbo, which has an even larger screen and an even bigger battery and a Bluetooth BCI. That one does everything the Basic and the G2 do, but now also grants you the ability to do some European vehicles. And if you know automotive, you know that European cars are the most difficult. Their security systems are complicated and intricate, and you can't just go and, sometimes you have to remove 4 or 5 or 6 modules in the vehicle and reprogram them all and synchronize them just to make a key, because the security information is scattered throughout different parts of the vehicles. So
Let me interject right there, and let me just say that is across the board. That's not just an automotive thing. The European or UK safes make our high security TL rated jewelry safes look like tin cans. They really do. Their barrier materials, the locks that they use, the combinations of them, the deflectors and things that they use, same exact thing. So if we're speaking the same language, if it's European, I already know that price is going to go way up, because that's going to be much more difficult container versus, opening a typical class B or a regular TL15 here would be like programming a General Old Ford. It's pretty easy, right? You jump up to something European, a nasty 10 or a Chubb safe, and you do like a mini or something. It's going to be way more difficult to do that. And the keying structure, even home locks are the same way, just the way that they have those bitted keys over there. Crime is so high and it's been there much longer. So they've had time to advance those technologies to make it more difficult to steal and to take things. That's why it is more difficult to do that. So it's not just an automotive thing. It's completely all the way across the board.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. And I got to tell you, there's the thing about automotive. If I had to say that there was one thing that was the most difficult, for this, specific industry, it's, every single year new vehicles come out and the security systems are updated, the keys are different, and it's there needs to be every year some re-education for everybody to kind of learn about the newer systems, and can my key machine cut this key, and can my programmer program it? But in more recent years, the last couple of years, a lot of the domestic and Japanese vehicle manufacturers have been stepping up their game to kind of start, emerging into that same space that the European vehicles have existed in for 20 years now. So you're seeing things like enhanced security measures from GM in this platform called CAN-FD, which fortunately we were able to kind of figure out and overcome. So, the AutoProPad right now might be the only programmer that can do those newer GMs. I think it is, or at least consistently. Ford has a newer security measure in place called FDRS. I believe right now the only thing that can program keys to those vehicles is OEM software. You have the SGM, the Secure Gateway Module with Chrysler, which is another thing that we were integral in helping to crack, but it was an enhanced security measure by Chrysler. You're starting to see Nissan. Theirs is a little different right now. Like their vehicles are still located program, but they've made it so their keys are impossible to decrypt. So some of the newer Nissan smart keys, we can't unlock them, and if we can't read the data on them, the aftermarket can't make an aftermarket version of that key. And you've got Honda, whose entry to stepping it up was to change the material composition of their emergency key from brass to stainless steel. They'll catch up. Honda.
Ooh, that's gonna put the hurt on somebody's cutter the first time they run it, huh?
Yeah, but not ours.
Because yours is carbide.
Yeah, and the Triton can cut the new Honda stainless steel keys. So
somebody asked that. A Zoom user asked new Honda blades. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah,
stainless steel. That's what it is. So there's the answer to that question right there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm just going to read a couple things in the chat section here. Let's see. One thing that stopped me from buying years ago was the tokens and subscriptions. Do you guys do the Black Widow machine?
The Black Widow is an American Key Supply exclusive. So Lock Labs. It is the same manufacturer as the Triton. And if you want to hear about that, I see a friend of mine in this chat who, there he is, Teehee, which I'd be more than happy to give him the mic if he wants to talk about the Black Widow.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody has questions about Black Widow machine, I've got one in the YouTube chat and I've got a couple others here too. I'll just put my email address in the chat, or you can put yours in there and then people can message you directly.
Well, message Carrie at CARY at AmericanKeySupply.com. My Lock Labs has no affiliation with the Black Widow, but I know all about it. But Carrie can get people sorted out.
All right, so let's do that again. Carrie, CARY at AmericanKeySupply.com.
Yep.
There you go.
There it is.
There's a message for that right there. Just go ahead and write that down in your phone, shoot them an email, and they can answer all the questions about that particular machine. Let's do 1 second. I'm going to do a screen share here, and I want to show what people said or had to say at the last Aloha convention about the Triton key machine. So it's not just me, it's not just you. People can hear what other people have to say about it as well. And one other thing that I would like to do too, I am now the Southwest board director for Aloha, and I'm going to use every platform to my maximum potential to make sure that we create awareness for Aloha and all of the different things that they do. That new automotive division is awesome. That is really cool. And I really hope that people join the IAAL Aloha Automotive Division. And I hope that they support that and go to those classes, because here's the thing, guys, if we don't show support for it and we don't show up in numbers, if we can't make the effort to show up, then all of this stuff is going to go away after a while. And then there won't be any in-person hands-on meetings. It'll all be on Zoom because it saves money. But there's a big difference between hands-on education and webinars. And I would explain that a little bit earlier. The webinars get you prepared so that more of that hands-on can soak in. They work together well, but you got to have that in-person hands-on training, and you got to have that networking. What is one of the most important things besides knowledge, besides tooling and equipment? What else would be the other thing that you would really need to do automotive work, Mo? A support team, right? You got to have somebody that you can call. Hey, man, I can't, tech support is down. I'm in a jam. It's 3:30 in the morning. I need help.
Oh yeah. And yeah, and if you can't find that support from us at Lock Labs, if you have like one of our products or whatever, the Facebook is a fantastic place. So the ability for our community to crowdsource information and to help other locksmiths when they're in need, it's second to none. Now, obviously there needs to be some moderation there, because I mentioned earlier, we do often see people that will rely on Facebook as their training manual or whatever, and
Right.
we know those people by name, and we kind of
Yeah, it's a different world. Sometimes people just don't have all the resources to go to those classes and stuff. And
well, let's talk about that, because there are resources that are available to people, like by way of literature, that absolutely could answer, like, I think 90% of the questions I see on Facebook. So when a lot of times when somebody's asking those really, really basic questions, we know right away this person's not invested anything in their resources. And I'll get specific. We have AutoSmart is probably the ultimate reference for automotive locksmiths, that has all of your key making information, all of your programming information, space and depth information. I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you how much stuff is on there. It's relatively inexpensive, a couple $100. There's the transponder book by Josh Heath. There's Fast Facts. There are books out there that'll get you through, 85% of the way to a cut key. And if you can't take it from there, man.
That's and that's how I like to try and play off of both sides, so that people can understand. And I like to relate what you're talking about to what I do, because it sounds to me like if I'm trying to help somebody and they're using a Facebook group for, they didn't do their research, or they don't have the education to go ahead and do that, but they're in a jam right now, and I'm trying to help them out of that jam. Why did you pick that container? Why did you say you could open that safe when it was clearly out of your league? Why did you take on that BMW, or why did you take on that, that other vehicle when it was plainly out of your league and you didn't know what you were doing? And now you got yourself in a mess, and you're either going to brick it or you're going to do something real bad. And now you're causing more damage, and you're going to have to hire somebody or pay somebody to come bail you out. People should be thinking about the job that they're taking and making sure that they have the resources that they can complete that job before they ever go out there. That's one of the most important things to realize as well. And education will teach you that. If you didn't learn about that particular vehicle, you probably shouldn't be going and doing it right now.
100% correct. And and you go to an intro class, and I teach an intro class. I think Karen's asking me a couple questions about that. I'm sorry, I haven't responded to anything in the chat. I'm still kind of getting it for how all this works.
We'll come back to it, Mo. What my plan
Okay.
was is let's just get through this little section right here.
Yeah.
Let's tell people about IAAL, and then we'll do a testimonials video for Triton Key Machines, and then we'll come back and we'll answer all the questions, and we'll open up mics and we'll let people ask you questions individually. Does that sound okay?
I like it.
All right, cool, awesome. So I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Just finish up that basic, knowledge. Don't go agree to make a key for car that you're not equipped to go do yet. You got to walk before you can run.
Yeah, and a good intro class will tell you if somebody says, customer calls and says the words BMW or Mercedes or Volvo or Volkswagen or Subaru,
Mini Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. Your initial assessment should be no.
No.
Specifically to do those vehicles,
yeah,
or you've put in the time to learn, you absolutely should not be tinkering. And every day there's somebody posting, a picture of somebody's failed attempt at removing a module and reflashing it. And that's an expensive mistake. You've fried the vehicle's computer, potentially. Like
now you took something, now that's vandalism, and now you're destruction of customers' property. And the same thing in the safe world. You go out there and you've got 15 holes and you switch to somebody's box. That box is not cheap. If that's a TL15, TL30 container, you just ruined a $5,000 to $20,000 container. And that's your fault. You were not equipped to do that. You agreed to it. That I've had to go clean up and sent people my bill. Hey, dummy, here's the cost for your boo-boo. And this is what it took to do it. I got to take the door back to the shop, weld it all up, paint it all back up. But that's why I have the confidence to open that container, because I know no matter what it takes, I'll be able to not only get it open, because I've never gone to a container and failed, but if I do have to get more destructive than what I thought because of a big mechanical failure that's not something that's common, I know that I have the ability to rebuild that container, re-weld it, re-put things in there, rebuild it back to fresh, back to factory, and put it back into service. I know I have that skill set to do it, but I'm one of a very few select. You could probably count on one hand, maybe two, the amount of people that can do that in the state.
Yeah, and we have in the automotive world as well. There's, I want to say maybe 100 automotive locksmiths. I don't even know if it's that high that can pretty much fix anything that somebody else screwed up. Actually, I don't even think it's 100. It might even just be 50, maybe one per state or something. And we know them, by name. We're in the groups, and
you got a network. You got a network
part of the
people.
network. They go to the shows, and
yeah, and that's another reason why these events like this. Guess where those people are? They're out there mingling around. They either have something to sell, they're either part of something to sell. I know Lock Labs is great about bringing people like Joshua Sands and other people that are really Brandon Tucker, I believe, usually rolls around with you guys. You guys bring your A game, and you bring people that are live in the field. It's not just a bunch of sales dudes packed around the Lock Labs booth. It's dudes that are out there doing it every day. And you have to have that. Even if you step out of the field for 6 months, you get rusty when you try and come back in. You can lose so much if you're not in it knee deep every single day. Then you're left in the dust. You're behind. You're gone. You're not even here.
You're singing my song. I got out of the field when it got picked up by AKS like 11 years ago or something like that. And yeah, I'm rusty as hell. But I have to do my best to kind of stay with the information, because it's critical to the progress of our machines. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you've got nuts and bolts. You got a foundation. You can come back. It'll come down to you. It's easy to get on that bike and ride it again.
Sure, it is.
Somebody wrote Mo Rusty Alley. That's your buddy Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this. We kind of went over conventions. Make sure you go to them. Their suppliers are going to be putting on automotive shows. and information. I know some of the instructors personally. Some of the best talent out there is out there in full force, ready to train and teach you. Pony up to money, go do it, get your education, get caught up on these things, invest in a little tooling, and then go out there and make your money. That's what we're really getting to with this. One other little plug I want to give is Wayne's Lock Shop. If you're not a member, please go ahead and check it out. You get a 7-day free trial. We're still doing lifetime memberships. And I've got, 1,000 videos at least in here. We're adding more all the time, and we cover everything commercial, residential. We're getting more automotive guys in there. There's a chat forum. It's all private. It's all video-based education. So if you want to continue learning, this is a great spot to do it right here. And then we're going to come over to the Triton testimonials from the 2022 Aloha Trade Show. I'm going to just let this play real quick, and then we'll give you one last chance to give out some final words, and then we'll ask questions and answer questions, okay?
My name is Mark Crawford with Professional Safe and Lock, and I love my Tritons. I use the Triton, and I love the machine. It's a lot better than my last machine. To do a job, I don't have to worry about it to get to work today.
So I'm Brian Sullivan. I'm owner operator of California Rekey outside of Sacramento, California. I use the basic Triton. I like the standalone feature of it without having to have a laptop connected to it, sliding around the van.
I'm Caleb. We've had the Triton, the best tool. I use it the most. We cut hundreds of keys per week. My experience with Triton it's been great. How fast it cuts the keys and how lazy I can be with it. I don't have to do anything. I enter a code and it cuts my keys.
Hi, my name is Maggie Ortiz and I work with Hollister Safe and Lock. I use the Triton and I love it. It's a great machine. One of my favorite features about it is it does engraving as well. So we're now able to engrave customers' keys and it looks a lot cleaner than when we stamp them and they're all a little off.
My name's Jared Burgess, talking today about the Triton key machine. I would highly recommend, I've been recommending it all day. For people who are looking for an all-in-one key machine, this is about as close as you're gonna get to it. And for the price point, you can't beat it.
My name is Aaron, and we have actually 2 Tritons now. They work wonderful. Triton is great. It's got a shield, great tech support, good update, and a nice light on it too. It's just a great machine.
Hi, Don. We've had the Triton for about a year and a half. We mainly just use it for residential, but knew that we were going to expand into automotive. That's why we went with the Triton. It's worked fantastic. I'm really looking forward to using the engraving more. That's a pretty cool feature. I would definitely recommend the Triton machine.
And my name is Karen from Hawaii. I purchased the
I'm
Triton.
in the bathroom
They
and
had
listening to
customer
Wayne
service.
Wynn.
It made everything so
I-
much easier. I was using the Blitz 1200, which I still love, but the Triton far superior. I've had my Triton for about 3 years now. It's always accurate. It always gets updated quickly. I've had zero problems with it, and I absolutely love it. It makes everything so much easier.
Hi, this is Wayne here with Tri-County Locksmith Service. I personally own a Triton Plus machine for about a year, had absolutely no issues, no calibration issues. It's rock solid. And I really like the way that this machine is easy to use. So from my business to yours, the Triton machine has definitely made a positive impact, and I would highly recommend it to anybody out there.
None of those people were paid either. You guys just literally set up a camera at the booth and kind of ran that jam. So
Yeah, it was cool. How old is Caleb, the second guy? Is he old enough to operate?
he's got to have somebody drive him. Is he 16 yet?
I had the pleasure of seeing all the
I don't really know.
and it was just amazing, like very humbling, very rewarding.
Oh, you-
See, the reflections.
Yeah. All right. Let's
integral part of people's ability to put food on their family's tables.
absolutely. And that's why I kind of said that.
yeah.
There wasn't anybody paying for it.
In the meantime,
Hey, Eric, mute your microphone, buddy. Where did Eric go? Okay. Yeah, it's from my business to yours, really. It does. It puts food on the table. It really does. It makes money. And if that machine's not working, it's costing me money. So it's either making money or it's costing me money. And I only really work with real quality machines that actually make money. That's all there is to it. Before I had that, I was actually contemplating just getting a bunch of punches, and those work great as well. But like I said, this thing's just got all the updated fancy features and all of that fun stuff. So what are your do you have any final words before we go into questions here?
No, I think my handlers would probably kill me if I didn't mention that we have a promotion right now on the G2 Turbo, which actually is worth mentioning just because it's actually really good. So first of all, the price of the machine came down a few $100. I think like 10% or something like that. And then right now we were in the middle of a promotional period, which is set to run through February 15th. We might expand that if we get enough response. You know, sometimes our distributors are like, we love this so much, keep doing it. We'll probably extend it. But if you buy the G2 Turbo during this promotional period, that 1 year subscription that all Auto Pro pads receive when they're brand new actually doubles to 2. And then if you trade in an older Auto Pro pad unit, you can get up to $1,000 off, which is insane. You know, it's very aggressive, but you know, we're just trying to you know, we want people to get into the next generation machines, not because, and I keep hearing from people, oh, it's because you're phasing out the old ones. No, the old ones are phasing themselves out. You know, the hardware in the first generation, though the machine was released in 2016, it's really from like the hardware specs are from like 2011 or 2012. You know, it's a super old Android system, you know, and the machine storage, you know, when that machine was made, they didn't realize, you know, like how much more memory we would need for these newer vehicles and how much faster the processor would need to be to keep pace with. You look at now, you know, like I said, I mentioned that CAN FD system by GM. They've exponentially increased the data read and write speeds when you're communicating to the vehicle. So I think it's just in everyone's best interest to get the newer generation, but don't freak out. Keep using the old one. We're not phasing it out. But right now is a great time to just, you know, get into something modern and save, you know, over $1,000 when you combine it with the discount. If you combine it with the discount and you consider the extra year of subscription, it's like $2,000 off, really.
Do they need a discount code or anything?
Nope. Every distributor that sells it, it'll be on their website.
That's great. That's great. And so let's compare it to something else. Let's say, you know, you say that you've got to upgrade things every year. If you're running stuff off of something from 10 years ago, that is an ancient fossil dinosaur by now. We have to really come out of this. Like the locksmithing trade and industry, the guys that are, you know, maybe 50 or older, they think they buy one thing one time and it's supposed to last them a lifetime. That is not the case anymore. It's like, think about when you get your new phone, right? You wait your 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever you wait. All of a sudden, you know, you thought that old phone was good, but the battery died pretty quick. The camera wasn't as good. You know, it ran pretty slow. It had its little glitchy things that you adapted yourself to. And then all of a sudden you get that new phone. You're like, my gosh, how did I operate that Stone Age brick? For crying out loud, this thing's amazing. Same concept here, right? There's nothing wrong with the old. It's just everything advanced. The apps advanced, the updates advanced. There's more information that it compounded upon itself tenfold since then. So that's why you don't even know what era you're in. You don't even know you're in the Stone Age when these things come out until you get them and interact with them.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. I could not agree more. You know, and again, it hurts my brain a little bit when I see people, you know, take to social media and say, oh, look at these guys put out a new machine because, you know, they want to get rid of the old one and make us buy a new one. And these are the same people that should also know that every year the vehicles are changing and updating, and to have a machine that is 10 years old trying to communicate with a modern vehicle, like obviously there's going to be a disconnect. So You're right. And the key cutters as well. You know, the key cutting, we have to be much more progressive on the automotive side than, you know, in my opinion, the residential commercial, because new keyways come out regularly. And, you know, in automotive, more so than I see with the viable residential commercial keyways. You might get an odd, you know, cabinet keys here and there, or a manufacturer that puts out a code series for a product that, you know, may not be a hot seller. So you see a lot of keys added, but I mean, as far as relevant ones, integral to, you know, making money in this profession, automotive, it changes so quickly. So
it does
on that.
It does. All right. So let's get to questions here. Weekend locksmithing. What is a good class for auto pro pad basic?
Oh, that's a great question. So, I teach an intro to automotive class, but we are currently working on a dedicated Auto Pro Pad class. So the one that just shows you the machine, that doesn't talk about all the, any of the other stuff, involved with automotive locksmithing, like lock picking or ignition rebuilding or anything like that. And that class is being developed in-house by us, by one of our guys that's been on the project virtually since its inception. His name is Tyler Anzalone. And I think he should have the class wrapped up by the end of this month. So you'll start to see, him and a couple of other of our associates teaching that class. So although I don't have a dedicated one right now for Auto Pro Pad, you better believe it'll be ready to go soon.
It's in the works. It'll be available later this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Perfect answer to that question. Let's see here. This is Fran. There are no classes close to me. Closest groups are in South Carolina. Do you guys offer any kind of webinar training or anything like that? I know Aloha is dumping a ton of time and money into web-based classes. So if you don't have anything live near you, webinars can tie you over. You are going to have to pony up the money and get a hotel and get a flight or make the drive and take some classes live. If that's what you want to do, if you want to stay at the top of your game, you're going to have to do a little bit of traveling, but just know that there is an avalanche of webinar material that is being built right now from everybody that's going to be available soon. Are you guys putting together webinar type stuff or internet-based learning?
So when we teach in support of either our distributors or of trade organizations, national or regional. So between those engagements, I don't know that we have any time to. Currently, there's nothing in the works to do stuff online. So anybody that sells their stuff, like I'll teach anywhere. I'm going to be teaching at American Key Supply later in April. I teach, I've taught at Key Innovations, Southern Lock, Banners had me, and then not to mention the trade organizations. I was the last official intro to automotive class for Just Cars in their final show. Actually, I did that class for about 2 or 3 years. I'll be teaching I'll be at NCLA this weekend. So I'm teaching automotive there. My class will be followed by another, by Jeremy Crocker's. You guys don't know Jeremy Crocker. He is an instructor for Southern Lock, and then he'll have one that kind of not piggybacks mine, but it's like kind of a more advanced key programming and tips and tricks class. So that's happening this weekend. Just check the internet for NCLA.
That's happening this weekend?
Yeah, yep.
This weekend right here coming up. Oh,
yes,
awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Where can people get information on that?
Every time I Google NCLA, I come up with the North Carolina Librarians Association. Maybe Google NCLA Locksmith, and then you'll get the listing.
Okay, I'll check it out and try.
Yeah,
and
it's
see
on their
if that
website.
works. Yeah.
I'll be teaching there. So yeah, come on out for that. And then, man, your best resources are your distributors. They all have some educational offering in some capacity. They'll have multiple days throughout the year where they're bringing top locksmiths from across the country to teach any number of topics regarding automotive. I see Kerry sitting there, so I'll plug him. He has the AKS Academy in his building, this Locksmith Academy, and he has some of the best instructors in the nation teaching there. They're all my friends. Southern Lock has the Southern Locksmith Institute. Key Innovations has Locksmith University. Banner has a big one coming up. If I remember correctly, they got some pretty amazing.
We'll be there teaching electronics.
Yeah, that's right.
Access,
Yeah,
so we'll rub
that's
elbows
right.
with
You're
everybody
teaching there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll be
Like
teaching
UHS has some classes.
We'll be there. We'll be there next month too. In
right.
California, IML. There'll be another IML shot in California. I'll be out there at that one as well. So we'll be rubbing elbows from time to time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Does AKS automotive class use the Triton key machine to learn on? Is there a hands-on learning with that machine through any of the AKS classes from Karen?
Carrie, you want to answer?
Karen.
Oh, well, AKS, I don't, just in case you guys don't know, I'm not American Key.
Sorry. Carrie, do you want to answer that question? You can unmute. Go ahead. Tap the space bar or click the mic.
He's not very good with computers. Might take him a few minutes.
Let me see if I can find him here. Ask to unmute. There you go.
There he
You're
goes.
unmuted. Go ahead, sir. I can hear you if you want to. Uh-oh. And now he's gone. All right. That may not work.
Well, they have. I know they have a Triton set up in the classroom, and if anybody wants to play with it while they're there for class, that's absolutely not a problem.
Absolutely. There you go. So there's an answer for that. Yes. Let's see. About time for Mo to offer deal of the year, isn't it? Okay. Well, that sounds like your deal of the year if they're offering $1,000. How much is the whole machine? What's the retail MSRP on the machine?
All right, I'm gonna look it up. I actually know it off the top of my head, but I don't want to misspeak. So give me a quick second here. Almost there.
Rob Reynolds says he'll be in Jonesboro, AR on visit.
Oh, well, Rob, wherever you're going to be, I'm going to make sure I'm not there.
He's laughing. All right.
Rob is one of my closest friends in this industry. He actually personally trained me when I became a locksmith. He flew out to my little locksmith. Oh, we're not supposed to tell people about that. He's responsible for all of this. Okay, so
Wayne.
Sorry, I should have had it pulled up. Anyway, it's like, like $3,300 regularly. Now I'm just ballparking it. Like $3,300 regularly, drop down to 3,000 flat. Then you trade in the machine, you get $1,000 off. So now you're down to $2,000, and then you consider the $600 subscription. We add an additional year, so you're knocking another $600 off of that. In your head, because technically not, but we're including it. So yeah, that'll put in perspective, like how much of a discount there is on G2 Turbo right now, and that's available at any distributor that sells the machine. So, and there's a lot out there. So whoever you currently buy from probably has that machine available to them and can get it for you at that price.
Awesome. That sounds good. One person, let's see, how much is Wayne's Lock Shop membership? That is, you can do a 7-day free trial, $9.99 a month, $9.99 a year, or $250 lifetime membership. Let's see here. What else do we have? There any value to a basic Pro Pad? Need to update, but does it have value towards purchasing a new one? That's what you just answered, right?
Yeah, you can turn that in.
So it's worth $1,000.
$1,000, yeah.
Nice. Let's see, day and night versus 1975. Let's see, just updated my app full in December. Can I get a credit if I trade in for the turbo?
Upgraded his app full. Yes. If you turn in a machine that has an active subscription, we'll tack on whatever's left on your subscription to the 2 years you get with the G2 Turbo. So yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's right. That's great. And that's why I love your company, man. You guys don't, it's not just shut off. It's, hey, you paid your money. We'll transfer that to the upgraded one. It's not this nickel and diming stuff. You guys actually, everything costs money. Everything's going to cost money. Every machine, every technical support, all that stuff is, but you guys really stand behind it. Trade-in is $1,000 rebate. That's from Carrie. App has AKL on 2021 SUV. Any progress on 2021 Ford F-150 or 2022 plus vehicles?
That's Rob Reynolds, isn't it? That's Rob's question.
Yeah.
Rob, FDRS is being actively worked on.
Okay. And how about Nissan requiring new adapter?
The who's that from? Rob?
Same question block.
Wait, for the 2023 models?
So he had questions about 2021, 2022 Ford F-150, and then separate question, how about Nissan requiring new adapter?
He he just asked me a question I can't answer. Rob, I'll get back to you. I can't.
Okay. You stumped him.
I can't hear him.
Is is he trying to talk?
It looks like he's trying to talk. Oh,
There you go, Rob. For some reason, we still can't hear you. Says your microphone is unmuted, and I can see your mouth moving. No sounds coming out, unfortunately.
Hey, Mo.
oh, hey, there we go.
There you go. Main one's the Sentra, right? We got a ton of Sentras about to hit the market, and it's still like only on the console. And TechMate quit doing the right to repair stuff, so it's kind of stuck. AD can't do it. Nobody can do it yet, and it seems like the low-end vehicle, but I know the Sentra's kind of the hard one. So I know y'all are testing everything.
I know this has been mentioned to me somewhere before. And it is surprising that the Sentra of all models is uncrackable at the moment. But I'll follow up with you. Let me find out from our engineers and from our locksmiths, like, what's in the works. But who's behind the scenes with our machines nowadays. So if it's something that can be done by the aftermarket, we'll figure it out.
Appreciate it. When they said it was a free cam show from Mo, this isn't what I was expecting, but I appreciate this anyway.
Almost made me spit my water out.
I'll give you one of those later, Rob.
You're a cam guy now. We guess we both are. You're in that category too now, Rob.
Oh, man.
Oh, fun stuff. All right. North Carolina Locksmith Association, ncla.us. Let's see. Karen, I have a basic auto pro pad. What if I want to update? Answered already. Let's see here. Months of updates. Thanks, Carrie. That's what I was asking. So the 11 months updated I have on the app can transfer over. That means I potentially have 3 years of updates. It sounds like you answered that as a yes.
Yep.
UHS Pro Pad G2 is going for about $3,000. Somebody pointed on here. I'm not quoting these numbers as facts. This is just what people are saying.
We have a map policy, so every distributor will be selling
Keep it fair.
price. So it's going to be that price everywhere.
Cool. Right on. All right. Well, that answers all of our questions in there. I will go ahead and invite people to either raise your hands in the meeting. There's a raise your hand button down at the bottom, or we can unmute microphones as long as we don't stomp all over each other and talk all over each other. We got about 22 people in the meeting, got about 11 people on YouTube. So we've got about 30 some people watching at this point in time. Please raise your hand or feel free to unmute your microphone if you have any questions for myself or for Mo or just anything about general locksmithing in general.
I'm about to get trolled so hard right now.
I won't let it happen.
Trolls show up, whatever they say, I probably deserved it. Probably did something 10 times worse. For people that don't know, I'm a pretty huge internet troll myself. So
anything from anybody? Weekend locksmithing? Brian? Zoom user. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi, it's me. It's Fran.
Hi, Fran. How are you?
All right. I'm doing good. But I have a question with the reason I was talking about the blades on the Honda. Now, it has to have an adapter because this thing is paper thin because I purchased one to see the thinness of it. How's the Triton going to beat my key line? Because right now there's nothing really being shown on anything for the 23s.
Oh no, we're doing them just fine. It's the Triton Plus. I think the legacy models support it as well, but we have no problem cutting that key. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know Keyline's probably the only viable option out there, or was, but that was a coordinated effort with Honda in trying to kind of keep the Code series under wraps. But
the same as the Subaru.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but yeah, we do it just fine.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your question. Do you have anything else to ask?
No.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. Good to see you here.
Nice seeing you.
Let's see. Brian, do you have any questions, comments, concerns? Jack? John, Joseph, Justin, Karen, anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Feel free to raise your hands or unmute your microphones if you'd like to.
No Stephen Hoffman, huh? Surprised.
No. Roger, Rob, anybody else? All right, we'll leave it open for about another minute here. If you want to jump in. If you've got all the information that you need, then I guess we did a pretty good interview and we answered all the questions.
I'll fill in.
What's up, buddy?
I'll fill in for Stefan.
Oh,
Pacifica Systems, can they be OBD yet?
Oh God. There's a program harder button on the Auto Pro pad. You just smash that until your finger goes through the screen. I hear that's how you'll get it to work.
Okay, that's good. I have seen that before. That's good. That's good.
So for everyone else that doesn't know, I'm being trolled right now by our good friend, I believe that was Joshua Sands.
Yep, Sam man.
He is referring to a vehicle that cannot be programmed simply by plugging the machine into the OBD port. You have to extract the immobilizer module and reflash it. But it's kind of an inside joke in the automotive industry about doing Pacifica by OBD.
Right. Like muffler bearings and blinker fluid.
That's exactly right.
There you go. Right on. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks, Josh. All right, cool. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody learned something. I hope we got familiar with the new machine. Like I said, I don't want anything that I do to come off like a sales pitch. I really do use the equipment. I really do put it through its paces. I really use it for what I use it for. And what I use it for is not necessarily what everybody else uses it for. But you can hear testimonial after testimonial from some of the top tier guys in the game. This is a contender. The Triton Plus is a contender. It's right up in there in those top 5 machines. And if not, for me, it's practically number one, so I highly recommend it. If you're looking into checking out other things like the programmers, the ProPad, if they carry anywhere near the quality and the attention to detail, that's going to be a quality product to invest into. I just can't personally speak on that on my behalf because I've never touched one and I wouldn't want to offer my opinion on something that I haven't touched. All righty. Do you have any final words for us?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Wayne, I've known you for years now, probably coming up on 10 years. I'm honored that you asked me to come on here and do this in spite of my nerves and all that stuff. I don't know if a lot of people don't know how much Wayne does for this industry in the background. He helps, us out in ways which I won't start listing here, but it's not just about his helping the locksmiths directly. Like what he does for distributors and manufacturers behind the scenes it's incredible. So I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate our friendship. And that's all I got.
That's great. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you're doing for the industry as well. My mission right now is bring this industry together. This industry is fracturing. The associations are not getting the involvement. There's more locksmiths on this planet than ever at any other point in time in history, right here, right now. And these associations are going down. And why is that happening? We all need to come together. We need to unite. We need to get on the same page here, and we all need to support these industries and these associations and these events and trade shows and come out of the woodwork and really, speak with your money at those meetings and just come out and support each other, build that networking team. No one person can do it alone. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. So I just want to bring everybody together and I want to unite people. That's my mission right now. So as long as that's happening, great.
Can I just tack onto that real quick?
Yeah.
I think one thing that we really need as an industry is a lobby. And what I mean by that is, there are only 13 states left in this entire country that have locksmith licensing laws. And in a few months, it's about to be 12. I think Nevada is getting ready to strike theirs off the books. And, anytime there's any legislature that's about to be passed where that is a threat or there's an opportunity to reinstate it somewhere, we need to have people there, boots on the ground, talking to lawmakers and legislators to get these things moving forward. I think, once those laws become a thing of the past, it's just an open, it already is tough to police now. If you're in an unlicensed state, all you have to do is, if you're a handyman, all you have to do is put the word locksmith on your business card and you're legit. I think standards are being erased and we need to take some control back. So
I think licensing could work. It's just, we have to get it needs to be structured. We would all have to get on the same page. And the most important thing, and the reason that I see every one of these states using that licensing system that currently has it, the complaints that I get are, I caught this guy on film. I have a mountain of evidence and nobody did a single thing about it. I pay my money. They didn't pay theirs. They scammed a customer for $900 for one key that should have cost them maybe $150. And that's what's happening. And I have all the proof to prove it. And I've got this big loaded gun or unloaded gun, and it doesn't do anything because it's a paperweight. So until we can get some actual action behind the licensing and actual teeth behind it, sharpen the teeth, then implement the laws.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about that. And we need some sort of a standard, and we need a body to uphold that standard. And I know in some states, in order to get your locksmith license, you have to pass a written test that shows that you have an aptitude and some understanding. And in some states, you have to even be sponsored by another shop before you can even be considered for a license. You know how I got my locksmith license in California? I pissed in a cup that, to show that I didn't do any drugs. And they checked to make sure I didn't murder anybody. And that was it. So it's so loose and all over the place. I basically bought my license,
Right. Yeah, that's a big conversation to have. I'm sure there's some probably really heated opinions on that subject. But if we can all unite together on one front, we could at least have that discussion, and we could at least get the people that are involved with it and people that want it and people that don't want it, see where that majority line is. And based off of facts, not misinformation. And ALOA would be a great starting point to start bringing up those things. Bring it up at the meetings. You know what? I am on the board, and you have no idea how bad I'm going to shake this industry up when we come to the next ALOA meeting. I'm going to rock everybody's world when we come there. And I want to hear other people who want to say the same things about licensing. I want to hear your opinions on that. And we're going to get through all this red tape of this, the people talk to the board, and then the board hems and haws for a couple of years, and then nothing ever gets done. That stuff's going to end right here, right now. 2023, it's all over with. We're going to let the people talk. The board's going to hear them, and something's going to be done. Some action is going to be taken immediately in order to start moving this industry forward before we get left in the dust and this thing gets left behind like a dinosaur. Right on, man. Cool. Let's check it out. We'll see you later. Everybody get involved with all these different things. If you're looking for a new machine or a new programmer, check out the Triton or the ProPad. Have a great day.
You guys.
Thanks so much for being here, Mo. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Wayne.